Jai हरि
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So yesterday we were introducing you to the topic of the Srimad Bhagavatam.
昨天向你们大家来引介进入这个圣典佛家瓦坛。
Srimad Bhagavatam is considered the cream of all the Vedic literature.
圣典佛家瓦坛被认为是所有的北达经典的精髓。
And it was compiled by Srila Vyasadeva in his mature realization.
这是在圣比亚斯 David 在他领悟的成熟阶段的时候所编纂出来的。
So we were explaining how the Srimad Bhagavatam begins with the invocation of 3 verses.
我们介绍了圣典佛家瓦坛以3个诗节，就是吉祥的召唤祈祷来开始。
So here you can see on the screen, the slide is showing the very first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam.
所以我们投影片上看到的就是圣典佛家瓦坛的第1个诗节。
It's a longer verse.
这是相当算起来是比较长的一个诗节。
So we'll look at some of the important points which are mentioned here in this verse.
我们在这里面看一些他提出来的一些重要点。
So it begins with the mantra which we chanted just now, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. In other words, I offer my obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva.
所以是这样的开始 ，Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya， 就是说首先呢，我向至尊主 Vasudevaya 来礼拜。
So Srila Vyasadeva, meaning the author of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he is explaining to us what is Krishna.
所以像 Vyasadeva 就是第1个字那里说到的就是这个圣典佛家瓦坛的编纂者，他是 Krishna 的文学化身。
So the Srimad Bhagavatam is to help us to understand who is Krishna, this personality we call as Krishna.
所以圣典佛家瓦坛来帮助我们他解释着谁是 Krishna， 让我们可以来了解 Krishna。
First of all, let us understand what is Krishna, then we enter into the other information of Krishna.
所以圣pau他就告诉我们，首先让我们来了解Krishna 是谁呢？然后让我们来进入Krishna 其他方面的讯息。
But then Srila Prabhupada said our Krishna consciousness movement is against all this rascaldom.
圣pau他又说，我们的 Krishna 知觉运动呢是对抗所有的这一些荒唐混蛋无稽之说。
Rascaldom means they're presenting Krishna in some other form, not as a person.
那些荒唐或荒谬之说，指的是说他们呈现出 Krishna 呢，不是一个人格的这样的万能者。
So we, meaning the Krishna consciousness movement, we present, here is God. Take His name, take His address also.
那我们呢呈现 Krishna 呢，就是说 Krishna 是神，然后我们来接受他的名字，接受他的形体，接受他的各种品质。
So that is so perfect. It is so perfect.
是这么完美的。
They are searching after God, and we are giving the name, address, activity, everything, quality, all.
那人们在找寻的神，那我们呢，给人们的这个讯息，就是神的这个他的品质、他的形体啊，所有他的一切。
In this way, Srila Prabhupada is describing to us the significance of this opening statement from the Srimad Bhagavatam.
所以他是这样子来最开始就来介绍这个释迦摩迦瓦坛这个重要性。
So now here's a couple of words which are being presented. And you can see Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmajasya Yato Navayat Itaratas Chateshi Abhigyana Swarat. So Abhigyana Swarat, we're going to look at these two particular terms and understand their meaning.
刚刚这世界里面在念的时候有现在先说到里面的两个字 Abhigyana and Swarat.
Abhigna meaning knowing everything.
Abhigyana 就是说知道的一切。
And Swarat meaning fully independent.
Swarat 就是说完全独立的。
So Prabhupada said, I am conscious to a certain extent only, not fully. I'm not a bigna.
然后他就说，我只是对对事情的知觉是到某种程度，而不是完全的知觉的一切。
I'm not very expert.
我也不是专家的。
So these are simple truths.
这些都是简单的真理。
But these rascals are claiming, I am God. God is not only conscious, he is a bigna, very expert. He knows everything.
但是这些混蛋们就宣称自己就是神，然后说，神呢，其实神不只是他有知觉，而且他是全然全知的，是很专精的。
We only know about our own body, the pains and pleasures and take whatever we're experiencing through our body. We don't understand the pains and pleasures of another person.
我们所察知感知只是我们自己的身体知道自己身体的状况，可是我们无法去察知感知别人经历的痛苦、快乐这些。
So our knowledge is very limited.
因此，我们的知识是非常有限的。
But if somebody is actually God, then God is in the heart of all living entities.
那如果说某一个人他是神的话，神他一定知道所有的生物的情况。
Paramatma is there within the heart of all living entities.
所以是这个超灵在所有生物的心里面。
This is stated several places in Bhagavad Gita and other shastras.
这个被我家梵歌还有所有的经典里面都这么描述着。
So somebody says, I'm God, then they have to prove it, right? They have to think, do you know what I'm thinking? Do you know my pain and what my pleasure is?
如果有人说他是神的话，你叫他去证明，然后跟他问说，你知道我在想什么吗？你知道我怎么样吗？我有什么计划等等，你问他。
So for another prayer, how can you ever know these things? God knows everything, but we don't know.
那个人怎么可以知道一切呢？是神知道一切的，我们并不知道。
We give the example, just like this apartment, we're renting, we don't own it. Now the landlord, he knows everything about this apartment.
就像比方说，我们这层我们是租的公寓，那这个房东呢，他知道这个房子的一切，我们并不知道一切。
And he has many other apartments.
他还有其他很多的公寓。
And he knows about each and every one of his apartments.
而且他自己知道他每一个公寓他的房子的状况。
We only know about this apartment.
我们知道只是我们这一间租下来的公寓。
In the same way, God is like the lamb of the proprietor of everything.
所以同样道理呢，神呢就像是一个房东啊，或是一个地主啊，拥有者，他知道这里面的一切。
So he knows everything. We could say he's omniscient.
所以他知道一切，就是他是全知的，
We are not.
但我们并不是。
And he's also Swarat. He's fully independent.
而且他是 Swarat， 就是他是完全独立的。This is something right.
Prabhupada continues said, to get a bigna or experience, we have to consult somebody. But God is Swarat.
现在说到，如果一个人想要得到经验，Abhigna， 我们就必须要跟某一个人来询问、咨询、讨论。但神他是 Swarat， 他是完全独立。
Swarat means he's personally so independent, he doesn't require to take knowledge from anyone else. That is God.
这个 Swarat 的意思就是说，他是个人，是完全独立的，他不需要去从任何人那边获得知识。这个就是神。
So you can see how the Srimad Bhagavatam from the very beginning, the very first sloka of Srimad Bhagavatam is describing to us some of the very important characteristics of God.
所以我们可以知道，国家瓦坛最开始就告诉我们神的特征，他的特质。
Recognize this place?
那个看出来在什么地方吗？
Sweet.
伦敦。
Hong Kong.
London。
London?
台北。
不是。London is not so modern.
Hong Kong.
这么繁华。
I thought maybe Hong Kong.
不是香港。
Actually, if I ask you, why does there appear to be reality in the material world?
问就是说，在这个物质世界里，看起来为什么好像是那么真啊？看起来事实就是这样子的样子。
And some people like Buddhist philosophy will tell us that the world is not real, everything is illusion.
因为在佛教哲学里面告诉人们说，这个世界是一个虚幻的、不真实的。
But even that a mess like this, we understand there's some kind of reality there.
虽然这样一团的也算复杂，也算有点乱，但是我们还认为确实是有一些实际的存在。
And so it's described like this in the first verse. You can see Tejo Varim Ridam Yata Vinimayo. That people are bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire and land seen on water.
所以第一段就 Tejo Varim Ridam Yata Vinimayo，就是说。 人们受到幻象能力所迷幻，幻象的代表就像水在火中见到水在土地中见到火跟水等等这些现象。
Just like if you're in the desert, you want to see water, just land everywhere, sand. But sometimes there's the illusion that you're actually seeing water there. You think there's water in the Mirage, yeah.
就好像说人们在非常干燥的大地，甚至就是沙漠远远的看，你会看到一种幻象，就是好像远处有一个甘泉，有水，就是那种海市蜃楼。
And similarly with fire, there's this illusion of seeing water in fire.
那同样在火里面会看到一种假象，好像在火中又看到水一样。
So it's the Bhagavad Bhagavatam continues that only because of him does the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal.
所以在梵歌跟网坛里面说到呢，完全是由于他就是至尊主，所以这个物质世界短暂的展示着，是由物质三种属性展示的，所以看起来像是真实的，虽然它们是不真的。
Appear factual. They're there, but they're temporary. They're not eternally existing.
这里说到它看起来像是真实的，意思是说它们是存在的，可是是短暂的。
Just like our material bodies, we have these bodies. They're real to some extent, but they're not eternal.
就好像我们这个肉体是存在，真实存在，可是并不是永恒的。
And it's all the manifestation of the three modes of nature.
那完全是物质三种属性的展示。
So this is the nature of the material world. It's the creation of the three modes of nature. It appears to be real, but actually it's not.
所以这是物质自然的属性，它展示看起来是真的，但实际上也不是真的。
So Srila Prabhupada, he found that to talk about God is confusing for people because there's so many gods.
这旁边巴又说到，跟人们说到神呢，很为难，是因为很多时候人们对神的概念是困惑的。
There's Lakshmi, the god of wealth, and Saraswati, there's Indra, the god of rain. There's so many different gods.
所以呢，就有像人们说这个幸运女神财富女神其他的什么神等等等。
And similarly, the term Bhagavan, many people may use the name Bhagavan, right? Even in the scriptures, we'll see Lord Brahma sometimes called Bhagavan, Lord Shiva sometimes called Bhagavan, Narada is sometimes Bhagavan.
就是说很多人如果说我们说到神呢是巴格班，可是很多人却用了自己的名字叫做巴格班，或者说讲到 Brahma 的时候也有经典，或是有人说他是巴格班，或是虚吧，或是谁呢是这个巴格班。
And there's so many modern day Bhagavans.
还有现代世界也有很多人是巴格班。
So Prabhupada wanted to give us a better understanding of God. But instead of using gods, he spoke about the absolute truth.
所以呢，他要更明确的认识呢，就说到神呢，他把它说就是绝对真理。
There's the absolute that is described it was described there in the verse. Satyam param dimahi. Satyam param. The highest truth, the absolute supreme truth. Dimahi means I meditate on that param satyam.
所以就是说param satyam dimahi，就是说它是至高无上的真理，而且我来冥想的这至高无上的真理。
So Srila Vyasadeva, who has composed this verse, he says that the manifested internal potency, meaning the spiritual potency, is real, whereas the external manifested energy in the form of the material existence is only temporary, illusory.
所以像比亚萨对说呢，在这个已经展示的这个内在的能量呢，这个展示的呢是真实的，但是外在的展示呢，只是物质状态的存在，是短暂而且是虚幻的。
So when we looked at that terrible picture of all those buildings and skyscrapers, they're not eternal. They won't exist forever.
所以我们看到那一些照片啦，就是那些摩天大厦啦，整个都市豪华的景观啦，这些呢，并不是永恒的。
But there is a creation which is eternal, and that is the internal goodness.
但是有一个永恒的创造，那这个是呢内在的潜能。
So, like the mirage in the desert. In the desert mirage, there's no actual water, only the appearance of water. Real water somewhere else.
就好像在沙漠里面的海市蜃楼这种幻象，那实际上在沙漠里没有真正的水，那这个水，然后实际上在其他的地方。
So this material world, the cosmic creation appears real, but reality of which this is but a shadow is in the spiritual world.
所以在展示这个宇宙的创造呢，看起来是真实，但实际上呢，这只不过是一个影子而已，是灵性世界的一个影子。
Maybe you've read the Bhagavad Gita.
或许你们都读了国家梵歌吧。
So you know chapter number 13 talks about the banyan tree, or chapter 15.
你们知道国家梵歌哪一章讲到这个榕树？
And it describes Urvamulam, you know, the roots are up and the branches are down.
就是我们看这个榕树、柏树啊，就是说它有这个很多的枝干，但是呢，就是根呢倒立出现在空中哈，但是它是分散的才在这个土里面。
Like the banyan tree. You see, if you go to Chongqing town, you can see the banyan trees in the grounds there. They have some banyan trees planted, and they have, you know, many. The branches are going down, the roots are up.
所以说大家比方说啦，在台北我们去中正纪念堂也会看到这个榕树，那就是说看到那很多的这个气根长出来，可是呢，它根是在上面，那它的枝干这些是往地上这样伸过去。
It's like a reflection of a tree.
那这个树的样子，就像我们一般看到树的这个倒影。
So we see in the reflection of the tree, the branches are down, the root is up.
所以我们看到树的倒影呢，就是说它的根是在上面，但是它的枝叶、枝干是在下面。
This material world is like that. It's the shadow, or we could say the reflection of the spiritual world.
这个物质世界就是这样子，就像是一个影子，所以灵性世界的真实，灵性世界的倒影。
Just like if we take you by the legs and hold you upside down, will you feel very comfortable?
就好像我们抓起你的脚，把你倒着这样抓，你会不会觉得舒服？
No, we won't feel very comfortable.
就是把你脚拉起来，然后你头在地上，你会舒服吗？
But we're in that condition. We're in this material world, which is just a shadow or the reflection of the spiritual world.
但是我们在这物质世界上就是这样，就是这个真实的灵性世界的一个倒影而已。
We are trying to enjoy the relative truth.
我们尝试着在享受着这种相对性的真理。
But there's another truth, which is the absolute truth. The absolute truth is in the spiritual sky, not in the material sky.
还有一个真实的真理，就是在灵性世界，而不是在物质世界。
So Prabhupada said, material sky, everything is relative truth.
所以包括说，在物质天空的物质世界的所有一切都是相对真理、相对性的。
Depends on something else.
这相对的意思就是说，一个事情要依赖另外一件其他的事。
Just like you may say, oh, someone is very rich. No, it's comparing one person to another person.
或许有人说啊，谁呀很有钱，可这只是跟这个人跟另外一个人在做比较而已。
Oh, this person is very old, comparing to other people.
啊，或说这个人很老了，那只是跟另外一个人比较的。
So that is relative truth in relation to others.
所以这是相对的真理，都是跟其他的对象关系相对的。
But we want to understand there's another truth, which is the absolute truth.
但是我们想要来了解另外一个真理，就是绝对真理。
So Prabhupada said, there's no reality in this material world. There appears to be reality, because of the true reality that exists in the spiritual world.
正好他说，实际上呢，在这个展示我们看到的展示的世界里，没有真实的情况。他们看起来是真的，但是由于真实的情况只有在灵性世界存在。
Just like one example, we all have the desire to live. No one wants to die.
就好像说我们都有这种愿望，就是说一直活着，没有人想要死。
But we know the body is temporary. The body cannot live forever.
但是我们都知道，这身体只是暂时的，不可能是永远的。
Why do we have that desire to live forever?
为什么我们有想要说一直永生的愿望？
Because in the spiritual world there is eternal life.
是因为呢，在灵性世界有着永恒的生命。
The soul never dies. Ajo nityam. Ajo nityam shasvato. Why have they got? For the soul there is no birth and no death. Not having once been, does he ever cease to be. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing. He's not slain when the body is slain.
因为呢，灵魂呢是从来不死的，没有生也没有死，不会因为身体的衰退、衰老而衰老衰退。
Na jayate mriyate vakadachin, nayam budva bhavitava nabuya. Ajo nityam shasvato yam purano, nahanyate hanyamane sharire. This way Lord Krishna is describing our eternal spiritual nature.
所以是这样子，菩萨在描述着我们的永恒的灵性的本质。
So we are thinking this world to be real, but actually the reality is not here, it's in another place.
我们认为呢，这个世界是真实的，但实际上呢，真实的存在是在另外一个境界，另外一个维度。
And we all want happiness. We're trying to enjoy. We're doing many things to get enjoyment.
而我们都想要快乐，我们都在享受的，试着享乐。
Because that's the nature of the soul. The nature of the soul is ananda and full of bliss and knowledge.
因为呢是灵魂的本质，灵魂本质就是充满知识，而且全然快乐的。
But the problem is we're trying to find the pleasure in the wrong place. We're trying to find the pleasure here in the material world. The real pleasure is in the spiritual world.
这个问题就是我们呢错误的想要在这个物质世界里面寻找快乐，但是就是真正快乐是只有在灵性的世界、灵性的存在。
Who wants to go there?
谁想要去到那儿呢？
Interested?
有没有兴趣啊？
Very happy in Taipen.
已经够快乐，不想去另一世界。在台北够了，不用再去了。
Yes.
Can you explain a bit this absolute truth? Why all the truths are absolute in spiritual world? Why, like in our material world, as you said, it is relative, like because we are comparing things with other things and that is not the reality. So that's why it is relative. Can you explain why in spiritual world all the truths are all absolute?
Because in the spiritual world, you're talking about the internal potency of Lord Sri Krishna, where Lord Krishna resides eternally along with all of his pure devotees. And they live there and enjoying eternally. There's no question of suffering because they're in their spiritual bodies. And the nature of the spiritual body is the Satchidananda, full of bliss and knowledge eternally.
We also want to know why in the mature world that's relative means have to depend on other connection. Why or how?
Well, so when we say something is relative, it's relative to something, right? Relative to something, to some person or some place. Oh, Taipen, the economy is not very good. That's relative to some other place. You know, you're talking. It's in relation to, or in relation to the past. So, relative truth is all based on other considerations. But absolute truth is simply connected to the Supreme Lord.
It seems to be that because we are the minute Jiva Karma, so we are so incapable, and God is capable of everything, so we need to depend on the other connection.
Well,
Don't say like that.
that point is, she's bringing up the point that the living entities are eternally a part of the Lord. In the material world, you're living separate from the Lord. You're independent. We're trying to lord over the material energy. We have the tendency to want to exploit the resources of this world for our own pleasure. But in the spiritual world, everyone is fully Krishna conscious. And everything, every action, every deed is in relation to Krishna.
Another also, isn't it that in the spiritual world, the being and the person is the same? Like if you say water, there's no difference between the word water and water. It's the same, it's practice. Absolutely in that sense. If you say water, then your thirst is quenched. Is it in that state? It's like that. It's absolutely means thing.
Well, certainly when we say Krishna, there's no difference between Krishna and his name.
他问到就是说，为什么说到绝对真理跟相对真理，而绝对真理是在灵性世界，物质世界只是相对真理。然后这个马尔什回答告诉我们，绝对真理呢是因为在灵性世界里面，它本质就是指的内在能量是绝对的而且是它完全是主是完全独立自己，不需要依赖其他的事物、其他的知识。
So it's possible to realize
世界
this.
是相对的。
Okay. So it's possible to realize this absolute truth only if we can be fully Krishna conscious.
Yes. Yeah, you must be fully Krishna conscious. Well, the absolute truth is personified by Lord Sri Krishna. So to know the absolute truth means to know Lord Krishna. He is the personification of the absolute truth.
Knowing and realizing is a different thing, or suppose I am now
Yes, knowing and realizing are different things. Just like you may know you're not the body, but to realize it is something else.
Realizing and feeling, we truly feel.
Realizing, feeling.
knowing it's just theoretical knowledge, but realization means you actually act according to that understanding. You actually live in a manner according to that principle. Just like you may know water is a combination of hydrogen and oxygen, but can you make water? Do you know how to combine hydrogen and oxygen to produce water? The practical application of that knowledge. So you know you're not the body, but at the same time you can't control or mind the senses. This is the problem. I know I'm not the body, but still I eat too much, I sleep too much, I'm greedy, I get angry, those things.
Can we say the absolute means eternal and not deteriorated by time, and relative means is deteriorated by the time, so it becomes relative.
Yes, that's also there. The spiritual world, there's no deterioration, there's no influence of time. It doesn't degrade like everything in this world with the influence of time becoming older and broken down. But in the spiritual world, there's not that influence of time.
所以关于绝对跟相对这两个字，大家有时候在讨论发表一些意见。那么呢，一个部分呢，绝对的意思是因为它在灵性世界是Krishna至尊主的内在能量，在灵性世界是内在能量，那在物质世界是相对性的而且是我们另外一个原因呢，我们只是主的一个个体的所主部分小部分，所以我们的力量没有那么大，主是完全有力、全知全能的。那所以我们在这个世界都必须要依赖其他的生物或其他的世界，所以也变成是一种相对性的。另外一个原因呢，就是说绝对的意义就是它是绝对是永恒的，不受时间限制，在灵性世界任何的个体任何的一切呢都是绝对，就实质它的形体，它的名字，就Krishna的形体跟名字是同一的，不会分离的。可是在物质世界却是相对的，一个人的名字跟他身体是分离的。而且在物质世界呢，一个相对的意义就是说，它相对的意思就是说，它会受时间而影响，生物会有衰老蜕变，各种变化是由于时间的因素。灵性世界它绝对是因为它不受时间的不受时间的改变。
Okay.
Swamiji, so after realization, one becomes part of absolute truth. Means Jivatma becomes Paramatma, or like what is?
No.
Is it like non-dual reality after realization?
Jivatma remains Jivatma. Paramatma is Paramatma. It will never become God. That's the point. You're saying that we become God, but we never become God. When you go to the spiritual world, into the world of the absolute truth, then there's relationships with the Lord in the mood of service or in friendship, many activities together with the Lord. You can know Him in personal, loving exchanges.
Because in Vedic literature, many times they mention Aham Brahmasmi, right? So that is what is the meaning of it?
Yes, we are soul. So Aham Brahmasmi, I'm the soul. But Lord Krishna, the absolute truth, He is Param Brahm. He is the supreme Brahman. We're just tiny sparks of the Brahman. So we're Mami Vamsha Jivalo. We're part and parcel of it. We have the qualities, but not in the same quantity.
这位先生提到一个问题，就是当我们领悟了、觉悟了之后，是不是个体灵魂会跟超灵融合在一起？回答不是的。当我们完全觉悟的时候，完全进化的时候，我们每个个体灵魂还是一个 个别的个体灵魂。但是呢，主呢，他是至尊犯，就说在伟达经的第一句说，刚刚他提到一个是 Aham Brahmasmi， 就是我是一个灵性的犯。但是Krishna 是 Param Brahman， 就是 Krishna 呢，至尊主呢是至尊犯，他是无限大的至尊犯，我们只是微小的一个个体而已。所以即使我们到了解脱的状态，还是一个个体个别的个体但是跟神跟至尊主的关系展示出来，而且永恒的关系存在着，这是觉悟后会出现的现象，会可以领悟到这一些关系，但不是说会跟神融合在一起。因为刚刚有人提到说，什么觉悟跟感觉跟知识是什么样的情况？一个人如果有知识的话，还没有到觉悟是不一样。知识就是说，马上讲，例如说，比方说，我知道我不应该吃太多，我应该早起，我应该怎么做？可是我还是吃太多，然后我又早上爬不起来，或者是我知道不应该生气，我不要生气，这就是知识跟领悟的差别。领悟就是说，了解到知识，实践去做。所以他会提到，就是说我们觉悟的之后个体身份的关系是这样子。
Okay, so moving on to discuss about this absolute and relative truth, one of the acharyas describes it how it gives a perverted meaning to this the material sex one.
这里说到绝对跟相对的真理里面呢，有先前的大师告诉我们，物质上的性生活只是说原来事实的一个扭曲的投影，原来的事实的情况是绝对真理。
So the point which you brought up, this is what the impersonalists would claim like that. That we're individuals now, but we'll become one, we'll lose our personality. That is what we refer to as impersonalism, and that is very harmful to people's consciousness to think like that.
因为刚刚那先生提到这个概念，就是说，如果人得到领悟解脱之后，跟真理或是跟至尊主融合在一起，这是非人格的概念。但是呢，我们是人格的概念，就是说永恒，在任何阶段，主是一个单一独立的，我们也是一个小的独立个体。
Yeah, it's described here. These impersonalist philosophers, they've encouraged people in this mundane sex life because they've given too much importance to this idea of impersonality.
这一节的要旨有在这边说到，非人格主义者一直在推动的物质的性生活，因为他们是非常的非人格的概念，想要跟人就是领悟的解脱融合观念，所以他们用这种扭曲的方式来认识。
Because if we accept this impersonal idea, then ultimately it means we're all God. I'm God, you're God. We can all enjoy together because we're all God.
因为人们如果
There's no rules, there's no regulations. We're God ourselves, right? So we can do whatever we like.
因为人们如果接受这种非人格的概念呢，就可以很容易来宣称我是神，你是神，他是神，我们都是神，我们可以很自由随意自行，所以呢，人们就不受约束了。所以他们就为什么非人格的主义这个学说会那么所谓泛滥？
And the verse also ends, I told you earlier, Satyam Param Dhimahi. I meditate upon that supreme truth, that Param Satyam is absolute truth.
这是在 Gayatri Mantra 的一个尾段，最后都是说 Satyam Param Dhimahi， 就是说我冥想的它，也就是说它就是绝对真理。
So within this verse, he's included the Gayatri Mantra by putting this word Dhimahi. This word Dhimahi, this is one of the key words in Brahma Gayatri Mantra.
所以包括在这里面的要旨，包含了这个 Gayatri Mantra 的一个部分，因为特别是这个字，这个 Dhimahi 翻译就是说冥想，就是我冥想这个至尊真冥想。
Chanting Brahma Gayatri.
就是说二次起步的人会念诵这 Brahma Gayatri。
不一定还是气的人气的，我问他们。Are you chanting Brahma Gayatri? No.
而且问
Bhargo Devasya Dimihi, as you mentioned, Bhargo Devasya Dimihi. Anyway, it mentioned here, Satyam Param Dhimahi. He didn't put the whole Gayatri mantra, but he just put this one word here, indicating Gayatri mantra.
爸爸就在这书里面把整个 Gayatri mantra 引述出来，他只是把里面这个小部分放在这里，就是告诉我们。
Now, to chant the Gayatri mantra, should be qualified, should have Brahminical qualities.
所以要来念诵这 Gayatri mantra， 必须要资格来念诵这个婆罗门的 Gayatri mantra。
And Brahmana is symbol of the moral goodness.
婆罗门的意思就是说，它代表着善良属性的品格。
In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna lists 9 qualities which are meant to be the qualities of the Brahman.
在国家梵歌里面提到了9项品质呢，应该是婆罗门应该要有的。
By chanting the Gayatri mantra, you can understand more, realize the Lord, His name, Fame, qualities.
借由念诵 Gayatri mantra， 一个人可能可以更加的领悟到主的品质，还有他的名字、他的名望等等。
So the Gayatri mantra is not so important in this age. We give more importance to the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra.
Gayatri mantra 在这个年代，不是那么绝对重要。我们强调的就是说，念 Hare Krishna 这个 mantra 是更重要的。
But chanting Gayatri mantra helps us to chant Hare Krishna better.
但是念诵 Gayatri mantra 在帮助我们更好的念诵这个 Hare Krishna mantra。
Brahminical qualities are things like peacefulness, self-control, austerity, cleanliness.
婆罗门的品质代表就是他是心意平和的、自律的
austerity,
他进行苦行
cleanliness,
洁净。
very important for the Brahmana.
这些品质对婆罗门来讲很重要的。
And truthfulness.
同时是诚实的。
They tell the story about the young boy wanting to go to Gurukula. He wanted to get admission into the school. So the head teacher asked the young boy, "Who's your father?" The young boy said he didn't know, so they told him, "Go home and ask your mother who's your father."
有一个故事来讲述诚实这个品质。曾经呢，有一个小孩，一个男孩，他想要去上学，不是上学，他去到学校那边他要准备说去入学。那这个里面学校的这个校长老师问他说：“你的父亲，你的爸爸是谁呢？”他说不知道。他说那个老师就跟他说：“那你回家去问你的母亲。”
So the boy went to his mother, and mother said she didn't know who his father was. The young boy came back and told the head teacher, "My mother doesn't know this man."
那这个小孩就回家去问他母亲说：“我的父亲是谁呢？”那母亲跟他说：“其实我也不知道你的父亲是谁。”那这小孩也很如实的照样的回去学校跟这个校长说了。
So the teacher understood this boy is very honest. Doesn't mind. Usually people will feel ashamed. They want to hide the fact mother didn't know who was the father. But this young boy was so honest that mother didn't know. He said, "All right, you can come to the school because you're very honest. So you make a good crowd."
所以呢，这个老师校长就知道呢，这个小孩非常诚实，因为一般人会掩藏事实，认为为了丢脸就连自己的父亲、母亲都不知道父亲是谁这些事情，但这小孩直接说了，所以这老师认为这小孩非常诚实，他可以成为一个很好的婆罗门，因为他这样诚实的品质。
And similarly, cleanliness is also the Brahmana usually will bathe like 3 times a day.
同样的那个清洁洁净也很重要。婆罗门一般一天沐浴3次。
And if a place is dirty, you must clean it. You cannot leave it dirty.
而且同时自己周围环境非常干净，他不能容忍自己所处的地方是脏的。
You can't say, I didn't do it.
原本可能说，这个不是我弄脏的。
Not my dirt.
不是我的我的杂碎。
So here's an excerpt from the preface of the Bhagavatam.
所以这里有不在瓦坛里面的序。
The Srimad Bhagavatam is a transcendental science, not only for knowing the ultimate source of everything, but also for knowing our relation with Him and our duty towards perfection of the human society on the basis of this perfect knowledge. Simply by a careful reading, one will know God perfectly well, so much so that the reader will be sufficiently educated to defend himself from the onslaught of atheists. Over and above this, the reader will be able to converse others to accepting God as a concrete principle.
这是四念国家瓦坛里面的序的一个部分。四念国家瓦坛是超然的科学，不只是说可以知道所有一切的终极来源，而且是可以知道与它的关系，与自尊主的关系，以及我们对于人类社会的完美的责任，是以这样的完美的知识为基础。仅仅只是借由非常小心的研读呢，我们可以完美的认识神。所以呢，读者们应该有足够的教养，受到国家瓦坛的教养，而不要受到无神论者的骚扰和侵略。而且在这一点呢，读者们必须要能够对经典擅长来自己接受神是一个很真实实质的原则来去说服别人。
So that's it. And the first lesson.
第一课的部分。It's too quick. You can sit beside.
Please, some of you, please come here. There's other people will be coming in. And please get cushion books down. Anyone else will come here, please? Anyone
Okay, so we're speaking from the first chapter still.
我们还是在讲在第一篇的第一章。
Here's our Srimad Bhagavatam. And we spoke about the first verse that was describing the subject and the goal of Srimad Bhagavatam.
这是圣经国家瓦坛的第一篇我们讲到了，就是说这个目的研读国家瓦坛的主题跟目的是什么
And it was describing how we can offer our obeisances to Lord Krishna, who is the absolute truth.
而且我们也描述了呢，可以怎么样来向 Krishna 顶拜致敬，Krishna 也就是绝对真理。
So then we're going on to the second and third verses to look at that.
我们看到第一章的第二、三十节。
So here's the second verse.
这是第二个十节。
Dharma prajita kaitavo takaramo narmatsaranam satam Vidyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam kapat trayonmulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krite Kimva Parer Ishvara Sadyo Riraya Varujyate Takritivi Sushushudis Takshan. Alright, we're going to hear about religion, what is real and what is pretentious religion. It's mentioned there in the very beginning Kaitava, Dharma Prajita Kaitava. The Srimad Bhagavatam is completely rejecting Prajita Kaitava. Kaitava meaning cheating religion. It completely rejects.
所以达玛不是它开特巴呢，达玛就是特别宗教来说，不是它开特巴就是拒绝这个欺骗、骗人的东西。
So this knowledge is meant for those who are distracted parama nirmatsaranam satam. They're not envious.
所以第二行就是 Paramonisaranam Satam， 就是说对这个知识对谁来说，对那个不嫉妒的人来说的。
So we're going to hear about this. Prabhupada explains Dharma, this word Dharma. Prabhupada said, just to translate as religion is not really a very fitting description of the word.
所以波巴又这里在告诉我们，达玛这个字，如果只是翻译为宗教的话呢，还不是这样子。
But Dharma means the real characteristic of something.
达玛的意思说事物它真正的本质。
Just like what is the Dharma of sugar?
就是说糖的这个达玛，它的真正本质是什么？
Sweet, right? And what is the Dharma of chili?
辣椒是什么？
Hot, right?
就是它的这个辣。
So the same way, the living entity, the jiva, he also has his own nature. And what is that nature of the jiva? Yes?
Anand
Ananda Swarup. Yeah, but we have to achieve that, right? We have to come to that state. We have to purify ourselves to come to that. The nature of the jiva is seva, to do service. And we see everyone's engaged in some kind of service.
所以呢，生物的我们这个个体生物 jiva 的本质，这个达玛就是服务人世界的所有生物总是在进行某一项服务、某类服务。
Serve. You see people with the dogs, take the dogs. You have to serve, take the dog for a walk.
你去服务，甚至要服务狗带牵着狗，你要服务它。
And the mother, of course, serving the family.
一个母亲她服务的家庭。
Politicians meant to serve the country.
政客们呢，政治家们要服务国家。
So here, the characteristic of water.
在这里说到水的本质是什么？
Characteristic is it says here is liquid.
所以包刚告诉我们也知道，这个水的本质它是液态的。
So the same way, every one of us, we are serving. We have that nature to serve others.
所以我们每一个人呢，本质上也是在服务着其他人。
If you're in business, you serve your customers, right?
做生意的人要去服务他的顾客。
In business, you serve your clients.
做生意的要服务顾客。
So here, the Srimad Bhagavatam is describing that it rejects cheating service.
所以在这里，我在晚上告诉我们要拒绝欺骗的这一切。
Means cheating, Kaitava means cheating, which is not Dharma.
开特巴的意思就是欺骗，那这不是达玛，不是一个生物的本质。
It's not the characteristic.
不是生物的特征。
The characteristic is I am eternally servant of God.
生物的品格就是说我是神的永恒的仆人。
But instead of giving service to God, I'm serving the dog.
所以本来要服务的人，现在在服务的狗。
So when this kind of dharma, this kind of Kaitava dharma, that is not discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam.
所以像这一类的品格特征呢，就不会在国家瓦坛里面来讨论。
Just like you go to the temple and you pray to the God, you say, "Oh Bhagavan, I love you."
就好像你去庙里跟神祈祷说：“哦，巴格达，我爱你。”
But all the time you think,
你自己心里想，给我钱，你给我钱，
so is that love?
这是爱吗？
Then comes to the father, "Oh Pitaji, I love you."
去到爸爸面前，爸爸，我爱你，要给我钱呐、
So that is kind of a dharma.
这就是开头吧，达尔嘛，
So
骗人的事。
that is not to be encouraged. That kind of love and devotion is not encouraged.
所以那一类的爱啊，或是那种奉献啊，是不被鼓励的。
The Srimad Bhagavatam rejects all these kind of cheating religion.
所以是给国家瓦坛完全拒绝所有这些欺骗性质的活动。
Now, it's there in every religion. Whether you talk about Hindu or Christian or Muslim, you'll find it everywhere. The people that they may be religious, but they have their motives. They have some material motive to get what to get from God.
所以呢，这是很普遍，在所有宗教里面都有，不管你是基督教啦、佛教啦、摩门教啦道教，通通有人们就是带着一些动机去到那儿去做所谓的宗教活动。
Give me a nice wife and a home all by the sea. Om Chai Chigati.
去到神的面前跟神祈祷。给我一个漂亮美好的老婆，给我很好的房子，在海边的房子。哦，神啊，万岁啊！你是最光荣的。这个地神。
So they use this word projita, meaning completely rejecting these.
在这里的这个中间这个字呢 ，projita 就是说。完全的拒绝，完全拒绝这些骗人的事。
So long as we have some material desire, then our devotion is not pure.
只要我们有一丝一毫的物质欲望，我们的奉献就不是纯洁，不是纯洁的。
So this Srimad Bhagavatam is presenting to us what is the highest truth.
所以这个国家瓦坛呈现出什么是最高的真理。
Prabhupada describes here a religiosity in the shape of fruitive work is directly a method of gross sense gratification. In other words, to practice religion, if we're practicing religion just simply to get something for our own self, this is just sense gratification.
所以这个第一句的前半部就是宗教如果是以广告活动的形式进行的话，它只是一个很直接的一个粗糙感官享乐的一个方式。
And on the other hand, somebody may be cultivating spiritual knowledge with the idea to become one, just like our Prabhu here mentioned to us, with the idea of becoming one. So this is also sense gratification, but it's a subtle sense gratification.
所以在另外一个部分呢，如果就像有人说呢，培养知识呢，要跟神合而为一呢，这也是一种感官享乐，但是是轻微的。
So in Bhagavad Dharma, all of these kind of cheating religions are rejected.
所以在 国家饭的这个本质呢，巴格巴达玛是完全拒绝所有各种这个骗人的、欺骗的情况。
So Bhagavad Dharma is about giving up all material desires and also giving up the desire to become one with the Supreme.
所以巴格巴达玛呢，这个就是说要放弃这个物质欲望，而且也要放弃说与主融而为一的这种欲望。
Prabhupada continues, he said, often when one is baffled in the pursuit of sense, it takes to salvation, tries to become one with the Lord.
所以彭巴又说，如果一个人在感官享乐挫败的时候，他就会去试着在努力成为跟神合而为一。所以所有结果呢，这只是都不同形式的感官享乐。
In other words, somebody was trying to make it in the material world. He was trying maybe to become rich or to become a big man in material. Couldn't make it. He got defeated. Wasn't successful. So he may turn to the idea to try to become one.
就是说就像有人在物质世界想要努力的变得富有啦，变得出名啦，有地位，可是挫败了，所以他换一个方式，他就努力的想要说进行到达跟神合二为一的境况。
So both methods, both material desire to get material thing and to get spiritual liberation, the idea become is all sense-driven.
所以像这样子怀着各种的物质欲望，想要物质的享受，还有或者说他去找着所谓的灵性的解脱，但是他希望解脱跟神合二为一呢，这些也都是感官享乐而已。
But the Srimad Bhagavatam teaching Bhagavad Dharma is a transcendental religion, and this is the function of the soul.
在国家这边说到巴格巴达玛呢，这个国家饭的这个职责呢，就是说是超然的宗教，而且是生命的永恒的功能。
So Srimad Bhagavatam is distinguishing for us what is real religion and what is pretentious religion.
所以圣典国家瓦坛非常清楚的把真正的宗教跟伪装的宗教清楚的分界出来。
Actually, there's only one religion.
实际上是只有一个宗教而已。
You may think, no, Christian, Hindu, Muslim. No, these are all the different names.
可是人们认为呢，有很多的宗教啦，这个基督教啦、印度教啦、什么伊斯兰教、什么教，其实只是不同的名称而已。
There's actually only one. There's only one God. There's only one religion.
因为只有一个神，所以是一个宗教。
So we would call that Sanatana, eternal religion.
所以我们称这个是萨那坦达玛，是永恒的宗教。
Yeah.
Regarding the last slide, it says that because the goal of becoming the one in the spiritual world is also sense gratification. I thought in Bhagavad Gita it was said that the ultimate goal is to bring getting liberated from this material world and then become one with the God. So isn't it the same thing? Why is it then this becoming one is called as a sense gratification?
Well, we have to understand there's another way in which you become one. You become one by service. Just like we give the example in the family, the father and the son are one because their interest is the family. They work together for the family. You could say the father and son are one. But the father is an individual, the son is an individual. They keep that individuality. Although they have oneness in interest, So the same way, the living entity and the Supreme Lord, they have oneness in interest.
他问到就是说为什么那种要与神合而为一的这种概念算感官享乐？因为他以前所知道的就是说我们在进行宗教程序，想要得到解脱，然后跟神所谓合而为一，但是有人这么说，可是现在又说这种合而为一是感官享乐，所以他想要了解更深入。马尔回答就是说，有一个方式可以跟神合而为一，是一个例子，就好像说，一个父亲跟孩子，他们在一个情况是一，他们想要他们一起的独立但是他们父亲跟这个孩子永远是个别的个体，个别独立的个体，但是他们有同样的目标、同样的精神来进行他们的事业等等。这种时候是他们在一的情况，他们的精神是合而为一，但不是说身体这种融合为一那种非人格的意义。
So when Bhagavad Gita speaks about oneness, we can understand it in that sense. Because earlier, where Krishna has already explained about the eternal individuality of all living entities.
加梵歌里面说到这个这个是这样，因为Krishna 在佛教梵歌在讲到这个灵性的这个品质之前，有讲到生物的独立个体性跟自尊主的独立。
Krishna said in the very beginning to Arjuna, "Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all the kings, everybody. We're all eternally individual."
那Krishna在佛教梵歌的最开始就说呢，从来没有任何时刻，你或是他或是这些国王，或是我，从来没有人不曾存在过，所有的一切生物永恒都是一直存在的。
Now there is a condition of merging into the oneness, the impersonal aspect of the Supreme.
那现在有一个条件，这样的制约，就是说怎么样所以融入这个非人格这个融入范里面。
You enter into the oneness of the Brahman. There are no activities and there's no variety.
就是说如果一个个体如果融入范里面的话呢，在范的境界这个阶段是没有活动，而且没有任何的种类的分化。
There's simply the feeling of oneness in being one in the light.
在那个存在状态，那种合而为一的状态，只是一种感觉，它是跟这个一体这样的而已。
So it's not a very satisfying condition, and the persons who enter into that condition, they will remain there for some time, and after some time they'll become bored and they'll become anxious for it, because the nature of the soul is to have activities and to have relationships. We long for that, and if you deny that, then you'll just become frustrated. After some time, the souls may merge into the Brahman, then they come back to the material world.
所以呢，如果到了善的境界，融入善这个阶段呢，它只是暂时的停在那里，不上不下。但是在那里，因为只有这微微的感觉，我是跟这个是一体的，可是那边没有任何的变化，没有任何的活动，只能待一段时间，因为灵魂的本质是活动的，不可能都不动，所以在那边久了，待在那儿，他会很无聊，所以他会想要去活动。那一般呢，他就会在降下来，在其他的层次里面进行活动。
So this is what happens to those endeavoring transcendentalists who don't know about the practice of Bhagavad Dharma and devotional activities. They simply want to stop everything, they negate everything. see no evil, see nothing, don't hear anything, don't speak anything, and stop everything. It's not the goal. It's not. It's artificial, and so they cannot maintain that forever. And then after some time, they come back to material.
很多的追求解脱的人，很多的灵修人，因为没有这样的知识，他们就认为他们要得到解脱，所以不应该去看物质世界的状况，不应该听物质世界的东西，然后不应该去接触物质世界的什么，然后只有这唯一的情况，但是到了这个饭的时候，又不知道在上层是怎么样。对不对？有东西所以他们就否定一切的状态的存在这种非人格的状态。后来他也不能待太久，无聊了，所以他就降下来物质世界，继续进行各种物质的运动。
And usually they'll take up some kind of welfare activity. They'll maybe open a school or make a hospital or have a children's home, something like that.
那一些从饭阶段已经到达饭的阶段的这一些个体灵魂，在降到物质世界的人，他们一般也不会那么低落，但是大部分会做一些慈善公益开医院孤儿院或是各种的慈善的这一些行为活动。
There's one Buddhist monk here in Taipen. He opened a museum. He did great austerities for many years, fasting, and then after all that, he came back and opened a museum of world religions.
就像我们在台湾这个曾经那个叫什么道法师他以前也是在修佛教，修得到一个阶段之后呢，他后回到社会，他就开了我们所谓台北这个世界宗教博物馆，就说做一些所谓社会的慈善事业等等。
And they say that the religion with the most number of people is Hindu. They agree. They say that much. The Hinduism has the most number of followers.
而且在宗教博物馆里面有叙述到，就是说在世界上，宗教团体人数最多就是印度教的人数。
And you can say Hare Krishna.
也可以看到Hare Krishna也可以。
Maharaj Hare Krishna, I have one thing here, doubt from Sarvaprabhu's question. So, if someone wants to merge with that light in the Brahman or want to be same with Lord, so where is the origin? It is due to the polluted consciousness or the false desire or incomplete knowledge. So where is the origin?
The origin of that desire to merge into the light.
Yeah. Where is the origin, the point?
Where it comes.
Where it comes.
It comes from the desire to be God.
So that means it's bad desire.
Well,
It's bad. It's not a good desire.
yeah. You're right.
So we are not in complete knowledge. So knowledge is incomplete.
Yes, you're right. That's the fact. Incomplete knowledge. Now, Brahman is also one aspect of the absolute truth, but it's not the complete knowledge. Just like you see the light of the sun. Now, the light of the sun has a source. Where's the sunlight coming from? There's the sun planet. And on the sun planet, there's the sun god. You just think, oh no, the sunlight. You just enjoy the light. You don't think about the sun planet, you don't think about the sun god.
他问到就是说这个个体灵魂会有想到融入泛光那种概念跟神合为一的这个想法从哪里来？这个回答就是说这个生物想要变成神，有想要变成神的愿望， 在另外一个原因，马上回答到就是说，也就是说他或许自己也提到，由于个体灵魂在灵修过程的不完整的知识啊，所以呢，因为在泛的阶段也是领悟学认真理的一个阶段一个部分，但是他不完整的知识认为终极的阶段只到这里，他还不知道至尊人格神的这个人格部分，所以一部分是不完全的知识，还有一个就是个体想要变成神的愿望。
So some people who understand the Brahman, the aspect of Brahman, they have some realization, but it's not complete.
所以，如果已经领悟到泛的人呢，他已经有一部分的领悟了，但还不完整。
There's also Paramatma.
因为呢，除了我们个体生命还有这个超灵。
And then there's Bhagavad.
然后这个超灵的领悟，再来就是对至尊主观的领悟。
It's still helpful and good that if we are going for those realizations of the Brahman or of the Paramatma.
Well,
Yeah.
the problem is sometimes people get very attached to that truth and entering into the oneness. And it makes their heart hard. And it makes it difficult for them to understand that there's something more.
他继续问到说，如果一个人到达泛的领悟，或是到达超灵的领悟，这些阶段是不是也是很有帮助的？马尔什回答到，就是到达泛的领悟是超灵的领悟，有一个问题，就是人们到那边觉得另外一种脱离物质的那个快乐，所以他会眷恋，会执着留在那个眷恋。但是这个时候，这些灵魂在那边心肠也变硬了，他就不会再去想还有其他生物或是其他，就说至尊主更高的阶段，就是说心肠变硬了，变成铁石心肠或等等的这些情况。
Of course, there's a lot of people propagating that philosophy, and even before I became into Hare Krishna, I also used to read these books. And when I went to Hare Krishna temple, they asked me, "Do you know who God is?" And I said, "Yeah, God."
马尔你说当然啦，这种非人格的学说跟书籍到处都是。马尔在成为哈里克斯纳加入之前，他也是读的这些非人格的书籍，所以他进去的时候呢，进到哈里克斯纳，人们问他说：“你知道神是谁？”马尔说：“我就是神。”
And you're also God. You know, we're all God.
我是神，你们都是神啊，我们都是神。
But then they talked to me and they preached to me and they explained about Krishna consciousness.
所以呢，他们就开始跟我说啦，然后跟我传述这些知识啊，就关于Krishna经典这些事情。
So that mindset shifted by help of the spiritual master.
Yes.
所以那些像他讲述，像马尔讲述的，也算是马尔的灵性老师。
All right. So then the Vedas, the scriptures, they talk about material things. They talk about, you can see the path of the four principles of religion in the material world. There is Dharma, religion, Artha, economic development, Kama, sense gratification, and Moksha, liberation.
所以呢，这里就说到呢，就是说物质宗教的四个原则，一个是 Dharma， 是宗教 ，Artha 呢就是说经济发展 ，Kama 就感官享乐，但 Moksha 呢就是解脱，就是说一般的物质社会的四个阶段。
And so, and to follow that kind of path, to begin by being religious, by practicing religion, being pious and religious, you get economic development.
所以呢，在物质宗教上，人们就进行宗教活动啦，就是说变得虔诚的话呢，他就会可以得到经济发展。
And with economic development, then you get more sense gratification.
所以经济发展之后就得了更多的感官享乐。
And after having a lot of sense gratification, you become disgusted with it all, and you think about liberation.
然后呢，在享受了各种感官享乐之后，也厌倦了那就会去想到说要解脱。
But does it happen like that?
但实际上真的都会这样子吗？
No, people forget about religion and they forget about moksha. Nobody ever thinks of moksha. Everybody just only thinks artha and kama.
实际上人们并没有这样子所谓提升，而是呢，他们后来也忘记了宗教了，然后也去忘记要解脱就是一直沉溺在这个经济发展跟感官享乐里。
But the scriptures, the real religious principles, they talk about these things, the four things. But everybody just thinks only economic development. They only want these two. Nobody ever thinks about liberation.
那么，其实真正的宗教是应该谈论这四项的，但是呢，人们就不去管真正的宗教，一直就是说认为呢，只是个经济发展跟感官享乐，那也不用去想说解脱。
You can see like the first people the people went from Europe to America. We were pious, religious people, and they went there to America. They built their churches, and you could see the church was in the center of the town, But over the years, how it's all changed.
我们看历史来说呢，像跟欧洲人，他们去到美洲的时候，最开始的时候，这些都是很虔诚的欧洲人去到美洲呢，就是说在当地各个城镇中心盖教堂这个教会聚会都是后来看现在建设都已经荒了。
What's in the center of the town now, it's
大 shopping
shopping.
casino 现在的这个所谓城市中心是什么？不是购物中心，或者电影院，再来就是赌场等等。
Actually, these four things are therefore not to be encouraged. Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't encourage.
即便是这四项呢，国家瓦坛也不鼓励。
Because this is more of the line of cheating religious.
因为呢，这四项也比较倾向是欺骗人的宗教。
So Srimad Bhagavatam is to teach us how to develop our love for Krishna, God.
世界国家瓦坛只是个教导你怎样培养对神的爱。
That is the goal of life.
这个对神的爱是生命的目标，生命的宗旨。
Not just to think about economic development, liberation.
只是只想着所谓经济发展或是解脱。
So Srila Prabhupada is saying, others also, the so-called religious system, they also think like that. Not only the Vedas, the other religions, they also think like that. Prabhupada gives the example, the Christians, they go to church and they pray, oh God, give us our daily bread. So this bread supplying business is like that. God supplies the bread and we eat and enjoy.
所以在国家瓦坛的样子通话讲课曾经说过，其他的情况也是，他们所谓的宗教系统是这么想着。那一些基督教人士，他们去到教堂跟神说：“神给我们每日的粮食，给我们面包。”那这个供应面包的生意就是这样子的，就神只是在提供我们面包，然后我们去吃，我们享受着。
And we even see how the communists propagated their philosophy to the people. They told the people, you go to your church and pray to God, ask Him to give you bread. And so they all went to church and they prayed to God, oh give us bread. And then they said, well, did God give you bread? They said, no, not yet. And the communists said, we will give you bread, bring the bread. And then the people thought, oh, communism is greater than God, we should all become
所以共产主义呢，他们是用这一点来攻击社会。他们就对那些人说，对基督教徒说，哎，你们去跟神去教堂跟神祈祷，说要神给你食物，给你面包，你们有没有得到有没有面包啊？他们说没有。那这共产主义说，共产主义者就说，好吧，那你们来我们这里，我们会给你们面包，给你们粮食，然后他们就去。他们自己就准备好，然后就给这些人这些面包，所以把这些人这样吸引过来。
But the people were not intelligent enough to ask, "Who gave you the bread?"
但是人们不够聪明，没有去问，没有去想说，哎，你们得到的这个面包跟粮食是谁给你的
Who gave you the wheat? Who gave you the heat to cook the bread? It all comes from God.
啊，谁给你这个麦子来做面包？谁给你这个火来这个烤面包？那这个麦子的粮食啦，这个要烹饪的火啊，都是神提供的。
So Hindu also Prabhupada said, Hindu may also pray to God, oh, I'm very poor, give me money, oh, I'm sick, cure my disease. So everywhere, some motive in religion.
那同样的，那些印度教的信徒，有一些人知道，神啊，给我一点钱吧，我好穷哦。神啊，我生病很厉害啊，给我这些钱呢。所以很多人知道，宗教行为都带着物质动机。
But devotional service is about being pure.
那奉爱服务啊，奉献服务说的是心灵的纯洁、纯净、纯洁。
No material desire.
就是没有物质欲望。
Akama sarva kama va moksha kama udaradi jivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha. Even you do have material desires, still you can worship Krishna.
释藏许说了，即便一个人有物质欲望，还是可以崇拜 Krishna。
And Krishna will help us to gradually purify.
那 Krishna 会帮助我们使我们渐渐的被净化。
And Krishna can also fulfill your desires.
Krishna 当然可以来满足你的欲望。
Krishna will consider if this is actually good for you.
Krishna 会去考虑这些是不是对你真的好。
But Srimad Bhagavatam is about devotion to Krishna.
国家瓦坛所关切的就是对 Krishna 的奉爱。
Not about fulfilling your material needs.
而不是关于怎么样满足你的物质欲望。
Okay, any question?
任何问题可以提问。
Any more questions for you?
Maharaj, I have one question.
Yeah.
Related to chanting, as you mentioned, the Gayatri and the Hare Krishna Maha.
Yeah.
So, we know that in this age of Kali, on the mantra, we are not that much pure to chant the mantra and get the benefit from the mantra. But if we really, like Hare Krishna mantra, for example, so do we have to realize the mantra first or chant first, like to get maximum benefit? So like that we have to do.
Well, first of all, anybody can chant Hare Krishna mantra. Gayatri mantra is different. Gayatri is meant to be chanted by people, Namo to goodness, Brahmins. But anyone can chant Hare Krishna mantra.
他刚问到，就是说刚刚有提到这个 Gayatri Mantra， 那么呢，我们一般说到这个 Hare Krishna Mantra， 这两者有什么可以让我们多知道一点或什么分别？那因为呢，我们还没有那么纯洁来念诵 Mantra， 即便 Hare Krishna Mantra， 我们也还没有那么纯洁，我们是应该有一些领悟再来念诵。Maharaj 回答到，就是说任何人都可以来念诵 Hare Krishna Mantra。那么呢 ，Gayatri Mantra 需要是所谓的婆罗门品格的，就是善良属性的人，这样子来念诵的。
But as far as your question goes about do we have to understand the mantra, realize the mantra, not required. You don't know the language, even our pronunciation may not be very. What is important is the feeling, the attitude in which we chant.
关于你提到就是说，如果念诵 mantra 的，是应该先有一些领悟和知识啊，这不绝对的，即便你的发音，你不懂得这个语言，你的发音或者说就 mantra 完全亦不了解，但是呢，要去还是都可以念诵。重点在于一个人的心态，他的态度。
Yes, that feeling from the heart. We have to chant with real feeling that we're calling to Krishna. Krishna is a person and we're calling his name.
这是我们心中的感情。我们因为 Krishna 是实在存在的人，虽然他的名字我们念出来，他的名字但是存在，所以就是我们要用那种有感情来真的对一个人来说，对他来念诵。
So of course, if you understand more, of course, of the language or the theology behind the holy name, the chanting, then it can also help you get more.
当然啦，如果你对这个视频的知识有知识或更多的知识，或是对他神学的背景等等的，都很好，都更有帮助。
But there are 10 offenses in the chanting of the holy name.
在念诵Krishna 的圣名有10项冒犯，必须避免。
The most important is when we chant, it shouldn't be mechanically, but we should chant with proper attention.
最重要的就是说，我们不能机械化的去念诵，必须要用心的念诵跟聆听。
You can chant anytime, any place.
在任何时候、任何地方都可以念诵。
You may not be purified, you may not have bathed, but it doesn't matter.
或者说你当时的处在状况还没有净化，或是你那时候还没有沐浴那个有关系。
如果只有念在心里跟念出来，或者
It's really change it out,
Well,
sound.
Well, yeah. The important thing is that you're chanting with attention, that you hear the holy name.
重点是你要专心专注，你念的时候有听到你念诵圣名的声音，至少是听得到。
但我在心里来讲，因为如果有在场合，那会不适合念出来。
No, chanting in the mind is not so recommended.
推荐只是心灵上，
Because the mind is unstable.
因为我们的心意非常弱，
Mind will wander.
心意本来就是到处徘徊。
Because maybe in some places I cannot change.
Well, of course. You can chant.
如果在有些场合不能念出来，那当然是可以。
Is there any scientific benefit in chanting? Because most of the mantras, they say they will have some scientific benefit. Like, you use the word called benefit. I have not come across in Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, that there was some scientific research done on it. And some of the meditation there are some scientific research in done some university where the mind comes to alpha level. Because when you are telling about benefit, I just want to know what is the benefit a person will get up.
It will bring you to the mode of goodness.
Okay.
That research has been done.
Okay.
And it's documented. One devotee in the USA, he did his research on that. And he showed that not everywhere, different people in different places, they started to chant Hare Krishna and they found themselves come much more out of the mode of tamas and rajas, come up to the mode of goodness.
So there is some scientific research on chanting.
Yeah, and when you chant Ram, also your tongue touches the palate, and also there is pituitary gland stimulation. That research is also done.
No,
So that is
very material. That is not spiritual.
Yeah, that is then it gives physical benefit, like, because of the stimulation of the
but we're talking about spiritual. We want to understand the spiritual, material benefits that you get into these things. That's not it. We're not the body, right? We're learning we're not the body. You're talking about the tongue touching this and this. That's very material. You say it affects the brain. The brain is also material. What does it do for the soul? We're talking about the soul.
这位先生问到说，好像他听到过念任何的咒语啊、祈祷文，除了就是说原来说到的益处之外，还有很多边缘的效应啊、副产品啊，很好的效应。那我们如果说念 Hare Krishna Mantra 呢，会有什么的所谓副作用、好的效应？马儿说，当然有，就是说至少会提升到善良属性。那另外一个先生说，如果有念咒，像毛毛什么名字会让你的身体怎么样啊，毛毛一起说到，那些都可能会有，但我们重点是要灵性上的帮助，而不注意去期望说物质上的这一些影响。
I have questions or I'd say doubt related to what discussion was there. One is from the reply that you gave to him regarding that Hare Krishna mantra can be chanted by anyone, but Gayatri mantra per se can't be chanted by anyone. I have this doubt here because when I was a kid in school, we all used to have a prayer in the morning which starts with Gayatri mantra. So it was something that anyone can chant because any mantra is about the energy associated with it. We have to feel that energy rather than characterizing that this can't be spoken by someone. So this is my doubt. Like in India, in Delhi especially, we do not associate any mantra to be specific to a person or to be specific to a category. We chant it for the energy, get the positive energy from that mantra. So that was my doubt now, like after this conversation.
You said the mantra usually is focused for the energy, not focused on person. So you want to clarify now.
It's like all the mantras which as per Hindu religion, because Bhagavad Gita is one of the biggest Puran from Hindu religion. So for other things also there are a lot of mantras which all can speak based on you should understand when you are speaking it, you yourself realize the energy besides it. Be it our Mrityunjay mantra or the other mantras. Anyone can speak that. I was just having this doubt that it's not specified to any particular Brahmin or something now at least. Because in my school days, we all used to sing that in our prayers.
Yeah. I don't want to translate. Well, I think there's no harm for young children in school to chant mantras like that because children will certainly be more in the mode of goodness. You know, they're not going to be sinful people, are they? They're not thinking any intoxication, and they're not going having illicit sex and things like that. You know, the young people at school generally would be much more in the mode of goodness. And it sounds like your school was also promoting the mode of goodness by having chanting of mantras, chanting the Gayatri mantra.
And like I believe
You just sit here, otherwise too far
sorry. I believe that like as we started with the conversation that God is one, there is no difference, and there is a Sanatan Dharma, and which I feel Hinduism that follows that. But apart from this, all God is one. We should not discriminate between different gods. They might be worshipping in different forms, but the energy is same. So it's like, should we differentiate between like fulfilling of desires? No God is going to give us the bread or something related, but they are going to give us a guidance. For when we chant Hare Krishna, when we are in like we are feeling very lonely or anything that is not positive for us, we chant Hare Krishna mantra. And then we get that energy in us and they give us a guidance in form of their maybe the verses that we read. It is a guidance, I feel that. And that guidance would help me to get my whatever desire is there. So this is my question, what should we focus on? And because no God is going to give us bread and butter, but they give us a guidance. So what aspect we should follow? Like going to pray to get something, or to understand the energies behind that, to take it as a guidance?
Well, you have your own concepts there. You're saying all the gods are one.
Yeah.
We don't present that teaching here. Rather, we explain that there are many gods, but there's one supreme God over everyone. You see? And that's supported also with many different leelas. We see how the different gods behave and how we do recognize that there is somebody supreme over them. So how do we approach God? As I said, we have material desires. Okay, you can still worship God if you have your material desires. You should worship God. And if you're married, you have some particular things you want. You should understand, however, that's not the highest. As we're explaining here tonight, there's that material motivation there. If a man says to you, I love you, but where's your money? What will you think? I want your money, You want the earth, you want my money, It's not a very loving relationship, is it? So, the same way with God, He's a person. And we should consider how we approach Him. What is our move? No, okay, you want something, you can pray to God to get it. And He can help you. He will consider if we have the qualification, if we deserve it, He will arrange it. But it's not pure love.
So at least someone should start worshipping God, so that once you start your belief towards it, and that beliefs will then build up to get into the spiritual level.
Yes, you have to come up to the spiritual level. Yeah. So that's why I was talking about coming to the mode of goodness. If we're in the mode of passion and ignorance, then we have a lot of desires. You have to come up more to the mode of goodness. And then from goodness, then you can go on to the spiritual.
结束他的问题，前面他第一个部分是说到有些地方他们特别强调这个Big Mantra的能量，然后没有强调人格的部分但是我们今天讲到很多是 Mantra 跟神的能量跟他人格的部分你知道在他所知道的印度的一些学校或是幼稚园，他们有让小孩子来念祈祷文Mantra。那他们是认为这个能量会影响小孩但是大体上是这个意思，所以他有点问我们的看法，反而是说可能就是说他们这个学校应该是鼓励要教导小孩子有在善良属性的部分，所以让他们念诵这个祈祷文、念诵Mantra，这也是一个很好的教育部分然后第一个问题呢，他提到呢，刚刚说到很多宗教就说有的宗教就说神会给你食物，给你满足你的欲望，给你面包，但是刚刚他听了又好像说，其实没有任何宗教会给你面包，没有任何宗教会给你钱。那我们是不是要怎么样去来遵循宗教，怎么样去选择，或者说要怎么来所谓去从事这种所有宗教性的活动既然神不给我们物质的欲望满足的话，那我们是不是就不要进行宗教活动，还是要怎么样来看？那这个回答就是说，即使一个人有物质欲望，还是可以 可以来崇拜神，去跟神祈祷也是可以的。但是经由这些宗教的规范呢，渐渐的，这个人呢，他就会被净化，他物质欲望会变得灵性化啊。所以进行宗教，就说像特别是像奉爱服务这些呢，可以让一个人进化到这个更直接灵性的培养，建立对神的爱。所以是总是有进行这个宗教性的活动，是很好的一个灵性这样子。
Yeah, actually, I want to know what exactly devotional service is and how it can help us to get our heart purified.
Yeah. Well, devotional service is about the loving relationship which we have towards God, rendering service to God, doing service for God. And particularly it begins with hearing about God, how he's a person and how his personality, his qualities and his activity, how he creates and things like that. And hearing also about his energy. And we are also the energy of God. We are part of his energy. So we should understand the relationship between him and us. So devotional service is understanding God as the master and we are his servants. And it begins with hearing and chanting. The chanting is also there. Chanting the mantras, prayers.
So only chanting and hearing can make our heart become purified.
Oh yeah, very powerful. Yeah. Hearing the right things and hearing from the right people is important. But you can read the books also yourself, hearing from, when you read, you hear from the book, you hear from the author should be some qualified, bona fide person, hear from the right source, that's important.
And also while chanting, sometimes like our mind is so disturbed and we cannot focus on hearing properly, or maybe we are just chanting but our mind is somewhere else. So
chant louder.
Cover your mind.
Yeah, your mind is somewhere else. You're not chanting carefully, so you have to try to focus, bring the mind back and focus on the chanting. So I say chant louder, and that will help you to bring the mind back.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
他刚刚问到就是说我们怎么样在奉爱服务得到净化，而是说在奉爱服务呢是有力量的，在奉爱服务呢我们学习各种细节程序，然后也提到经常是主人，我们是仆人，然后在奉爱里面我们也学习到很多知识等等。那他又说，如果我们心里很困扰的时候，有时候念咒心里不定，那我们刚刚是回答的念大声一点，让这个念咒的声音可以盖过你心的状态。
His Grace Narasimha Swami Maharaj ki, Rajesh Mataji ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Hari Bol.